All right, let's just jump right in. What if I told you that everything you think you know about war heroes is a total lie? I mean, what if the bravest soldier wasn't the one charging into battle, but the one who ran away from a fight? That's exactly the kind of question we're digging into today, as we unmask George Bernard Shaw's incredible play, Arms and the Man. It's a comedy, yeah, but it's really about the wars we fight inside ourselves, not the ones on some distant battlefield.
And that really brings us to the core of this whole thing, the central question of the play itself. What if the real enemy isn't a person at all, but an idea? You see, Shaw wasn't just writing a play about the Serbo-Bulgarian War. Nope. He was actually staging a massive battle between two huge opposing forces, this kind of romantic, storybook fantasy versus cold, hard, pragmatic reality. Okay, so first up, war in a drawing room. Now, if you're gonna stage this epic battle of ideas, where would you set it? You're probably thinking a muddy trench, right? Or maybe a general's tent. But Shaw gives us our first big clue right away with the setting. This is a war fought in a drawing room.
That's right, the entire play is set in this one family's drawing room, miles and miles away from any actual fighting. I mean, for a play called Arms and the Man, you'd expect some action, but you won't see a single cannon fire. The whole conflict is trapped inside the four walls of this wealthy family's home. And that's the point. This fancy room becomes the new battlefield, and by doing this, Shaw basically puts all of society under a microscope.
So why a drawing room? I mean, what's the big idea? Well, it's actually a stroke of genius. By moving the war off stage, Shaw completely strips it of all its glamour. We don't get to see any of the dashing, heroic cavalry charges. Instead, we just hear about the messy, ridiculous, not so glorious reality. That drawing room basically becomes a pressure cooker, forcing all these characters to face their own little lies and hypocrisies. And it makes all their patriotic speeches and grandstanding look, well, completely absurd.
All right, section 2, the mask of heroism. So the stage is set, right? We're in this domestic battlefield, and now Shaw starts bringing in his characters. But they're not really heroes and villains, they're more like walking, talking ideas. And his first big target is that mask of heroism we all think we know so well. And his weapon of choice for tearing down this mask, it's one of the most famous characters in all of theater, the chocolate cream soldier. Yep, you heard me right. This is Captain Blunchley. He's a professional soldier, a mercenary, who literally carries chocolates into battle instead of extra ammo. Why? Because, as he points out, what good are bullets if you're too tired and hungry to shoot straight? He's the ultimate antihero, a total pragmatist living in a world full of dreamers. And this is where you really see these two opposing ideas of what a soldier should be go head to head. On one side, you've got Sergius. He's the classic romantic ideal, the handsome officer who leads this absolutely insane cavalry charge out of pure bravado, and somehow, against all odds, it works. But then you have Blunchley on the other side, who looks at that same charge and calls it what it is, complete suicide. For him, war isn't some grand opera. It's just a messy, dangerous job, and the #1 goal is to make it home alive. All right, third point, the illusion of class. Now, these romantic, fake ideas aren't just about war. Shaw shows us that the whole social ladder back home, it's just as phony, just as much of a performance. So now he's taking aim at the illusion of social class.
So while all the soldiers are out there fighting for land, there's a totally different war going on right there in the drawing room. This one is all about social class. And those lines between the wealthy masters and their servants, they look so solid, so permanent, but Shaw shows us they're actually paper thin, just waiting to crack the second a little human ambition gets involved.
And you really see this battle play out between two key characters. You have Luca, the maid. She's whip smart, probably smarter than everyone she works for, and she absolutely refuses to just know her place. And then you have Sergius, again, our supposed hero, who's engaged to the rich daughter of the house but can't stop flirting with Luca. You watch them, and you realize pretty quick that this whole class system has nothing to do with who's better or smarter. It's just a silly set of rules that, let's be honest, everyone is trying to break. And this is really Shaw getting to the heart of it. Remember, he was a socialist, so for him, class itself wasn't a real, natural thing. It was just a performance. It's like everyone's wearing these theatrical masks. And the problem with these masks is that they get in the way of what really matters. You know, being honest about what you want and being good at what you do. Okay, section 4, realism versus romanticism. So let's recap. If the real fight isn't soldier against soldier, and it's not master against servant, then what is it? Well, we've been dancing around it this whole time. The true battle in this play is between two completely different ways of seeing the world: realism versus romanticism.
And here is where we can actually draw the battle lines. Think of it like this. The real protagonists, the good guys of the play, aren't people with medals. They're the ideas of realism and self-knowledge. You've got Blunchley and his chocolates, Luca and her ambition. They're on team realism. And the antagonists, the villains, it's not some enemy army. The real bad guy is the whole toxic idea of romanticism. It surges his ego, the family's snobbery, and that whole silly notion of a heroic war.
But wait a minute, how does an idea like romanticism even fight back? Well, Shaw shows us it's kind of a three-part strategy. First, there's ideological pressure. All these romantic myths about heroes and honor, they push people into playing roles they don't actually fit, like Sergius trying so hard to be the noble hero. Second, you've got social constraints. The rules of class are used to keep talented, ambitious people like Luca down. And finally, there's moral contrast. The whole flimsy idea of honor just falls apart when someone like Blunchley shows up, and his practical, honest way of doing things makes everyone else's grandstanding look, well, cowardly and pretty darn foolish. And all of this builds to the final act, the grand finale of the play. This is where the masks finally come off, and we see who really wins this war of ideas. Let's get into our final section, unmasking the truth. So, in the end, that quiet little drawing room ends up being more important than any battlefield. It becomes this moral testing ground. It's where the final unmasking happens, where all the characters are finally forced to stop pretending and face who they actually are, not the picture-perfect heroes and ladies they've been trying so hard to be. And in Shaw's court, there is a clear winner, no doubt about it. The victory doesn't go to the flashy cavalry officer or the fancy aristocrat, nope. The winner is practical honesty. The whole play ends up celebrating the competent, down-to-earth people who actually get things done, and it leaves that whole old world of romantic posing and social status completely in the dust. You know, Shaw wrote this play more than 100 years ago, but the main question he's asking feels like it could have been written yesterday. He's really asking us to take a hard look at the roles we play, the scripts we follow in our own lives. So, I'll leave you with the same question he leaves his audience. What social masks do you wear every single day?